Welcome everyone. So today let's discuss the topic pleiotropy. Now, what is pleiotropy? The condition in which a single gene influences more than one trait is known as pleiotropy or pleiotropism. That means earlier we have studied about that only a one particular character influences the trait. Okay? Um, that means suppose capital T, for example, it will influence the particular trait, that is the height of the plant. But here actually what happened, this is a particular type of phenomenon in which a single gene, it will control the effect of more than one particular trait. Okay, so that is called pleiotropism, and the genes which are controlling this is known as the pleiotropic genes. Now here actually the thing is that this particular effect is observed in case of many types of traits. Okay, so suppose what happens in some conditions, this genes, the pleiotropic genes, they show that it's evident or its impact much more effectively in some particular traits which are known as the major traits. But sometimes what happens, their influence is quite less as compared to the other genes. So then it is known as the secondary effect. Okay, so major effect and secondary effect are there in regard to this pleiotropic genes. Now, while we are studying pleiotropism, actually we come across different examples, but here we will study about sickle cell anemia and phenylketonuria. Sickle cell anemia means here what happened, the RBC cells of the human being, it becomes like that of the sickle, and then what happens actually, the hemoglobin, it type alters, and as the hemoglobin alters, that means it is the main transport vehicle for carbon dioxide and oxygen, isn't it? So change in hemoglobin results into the it affects the oxygen and carbon dioxide transportation. That's why respiration problems occur in this type of patients. Then phenylketonuria. This is actually observed in case when we are studying about the phenylalanine pathway. Now in phenylalanine pathway, phenylalanine, it gets converted to tyrosine with the help of the enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase. Okay, and this enzyme is produced by the normal gene present in the chromosome 12. Now, if suppose due to some mutation or problem, the abnormal gene is not able to produce this particular enzyme, that means what happened? Phenylalanine gets deposited in the body of the person. It is not converted to tyrosine, for which this gets deposited. And if it is deposited, then abnormalities are observed in the particular patient, and the child which is born with such abnormality or phenylketonuria, it is normally observed that mental retardation is seen in case of such particular children. Okay, so mental retardation is observed. Moreover, their pigmentations are changed. So these are the basic things which are occurred. So basically pleiotropism we have studied. We know that it is the genes which are controlling more than one particular trait. Next we come to the point polygenic inheritance. Polygenic inheritance, it indicates the inheritance which is controlled by actually more than one genes, two genes. Okay, here inheritance is basically of two types. One is qualitative and one is quantitative. Now while we are studying about qualitative inheritance, that means here a single dominant gene will influence the complete trait. Now for example, capital T represents tallness, small t dwarfness. So this is a gene which is completely it is controlling or influencing the trait height of the plant. Okay. Quantitative inheritance means here what happened, three or more gene influences a trait, and the dominant genes, they have cumulative effect. That means additive effect is there. The number of dominant genes, the more is the influence of the gene. The effect will be much more. That's why this is also known as cumulative or additive effect. Now, the quantitative inheritance is also known as polygenic inheritance or multiple factor inheritance. Okay, and the genes which are controlling this are known as the polygenes. So polygene means a gene where one dominant allele controls only a unit or partial quantitative expression of a trait. Actually here what happened, if capital D is there, it will definitely produce the tallness. But in polygenic inheritance, what happened? The number of dominant gene, the more is the influence or intensity of expression of the phenotype. Okay, so that is the main difference between qualitative and quantitative inheritance. Now, these genes are also known as cumulative genes. Okay, it was first studied by J. Collier in The Height of Tobacco Plant and F. Galton in Height and Intelligence of Human Beings. But actually, experimentally, it was first proved by Nielsen Nehel in the kernel color of wheat. Now, you know what is kernel, isn't it? So, that in the kernel color of wheat, this was observed. Moreover, it was also better studied in case of the skin genes controlling the skin of human beings. For polygenic inheritance, let's see the human skin color. Okay, basically what happened, the human skin color is controlled by the pigment melanin and it is controlled by the genes capital A, capital A, capital B, capital C and capital C, capital C. Okay, these are the main three dominant genes which are controlling the polygenic effect or the skin color of the human being. Now, here let's cross a parent. This is a white parent with a black skinned parent. Capital A, capital A, capital B, capital B, capital C, capital C. Okay, here all the dominant genes are there and here the recessive genes are there. So when we will cross them, what is the offspring we are getting? Capital A, small a, capital B, small c, small b, sorry, capital C, small c. Okay, this is the expected phenotype and this will be an intermediate type of skin color. That means what happens, see, here all the dominant recessive genes, these are the all dominant genes and when they are crossed, here what happened, three dominant genes are present. We have already said that in polygenic inheritance, the number of dominant gene is important. Okay, not what the gene is present, the number of them, that means cumulative effect. So here three genes are present, so it will show an intermediate effect. Now for F2 generations, this is F1. For F2 we will find out the gametes. So how we will find out the gametes? Earlier I have taught you about the process of gamete how to find out the gametes. So first of all we will write capital A and here we will write small a. Okay. Now next pair of gene is capital B, small b. Again capital B, small b. Then third pair of gene is capital C, small c, capital C, small c. Again capital C, small c, capital C, small c. So we will now join them together. Capital A, capital B, capital C, capital A, capital B, small c, capital A, small b, capital C, capital A, small b, small c. Got it? These are the four gametes. Again here, small a, capital B, capital C, small a, capital B, small c, small a, small b, capital C, small a, small b, small c. So these are the total 8 gametes that we will found in this trihybrid cross. So this is a trihybrid cross as 3 genes are considered, isn't it? So here we will find a total number of 8 gametes. Got it? And accordingly also we have earlier studied about the formula. What was the formula for gamete formation? 2 to the power n, isn't it? So n here 3, 2 to the power 3, that is 8 gametes are formed. Okay? So with this help of these 8 gametes, that means these 8 gametes are formed for this parent. Now this is crossed simultaneously with a similar parent. So what happened? We will get another more gametes and then we will prepare the checkerboard. Okay? So a huge checkerboard will be now prepared. Okay, now you see in this cross a white parent, very light color, dark parent, okay, black color is crossed. We are getting the gametes and similarly we are preparing a checkerboard. Okay, now in this checkerboard, now see the parent with all capital letters, that means 6 dominant will have dark colored skin, isn't it? as compared to the parent with 3 dominant gene. Now we will not consider here whether capital small a is present, small b or small c. But the thing is the number of dominant genes. So if 4 dominant gene, it will be dark black color. If 5 dominant genes, then what happened? It will be dark. If 4 dominant genes, as here it is present, then it will be fairly dark. Okay. If 3 dominant gene, it will be an intermediate type. If it is 2 dominant gene, fairly light. And if there are no dominant gene, then very light. Okay. And if 1 dominant gene, light. So these are the basic main things what we will get. So we will prepare a checkerboard in this pattern, placing the gametes, 8 gametes on upper side and on this side. Then we will make this, you know how to prepare the checkerboard, and finally after this we will get the different types of genotypes and phenotypes from this board. Okay, now see, after we have prepared the checkerboard, now actually the board is small, so I am taking the help of the book. Okay, hope you won't mind. Now if there are 4 dominant genes, 6 dominant genes, then it is dark color. Okay, or you can mention it as very dark. Suppose there are 5 dominant genes, then it will be dark. If 4 dominant gene, then it will be fairly dark. If 3 dominant gene, intermediate. If 2 dominant gene, fairly light. If 1 dominant gene, light. And if no dominant gene, that means it is white color. Okay. So these are the different phenotypes that we will observe here. Got it? Dark, very dark, dark, fairly dark, intermediate, fairly light, light and white color. Now actually this occurs in the ratio 1:6:15:20:15:6:1. Now the polygenic ratio is actually for skin color, it is 1:6:15:20:15:6:1. Got it? So these are the main things. The cross, the checkerboard, you have to positively write down it in your copies, and after you prepare the checkerboard, we will see the count the number of dominant genes, and accordingly we will write the phenotype, and finally we will get a ratio. That means dark, very dark, it will 1 offspring will be there. For 5 dominant gene, dark, 6 offsprings. Okay, simultaneously we will thus get the ratio 1:6:15:20:15:6. Okay, so these are the main things regarding the polygenic inheritance. So polygenic inheritance, in today's class we have discussed about the pleiotropism and polygenic inheritance. Both are important point. In pleiotropic genes, that means one gene controlling many characters, and here many genes controlling one character. Okay, the dominant genes, they are responsible for the expression of the intensity of the phenotype of a particular character. So both the topics, go through the books, go through the videos properly, and if you have any problem then please let me know.